Welcome to Pause with Polly in our season of Lent, which is now getting to the very last end of it, to the very last week. Today, Palm Sunday, April 13, we have our theme as Love Casts Out Fear. And when thinking of the theme for today and reading the booklet, what came to my mind was a conversation I had with a very dear person that lives in my heart, a very dear friend who's been questioning how to keep going with the project. Because there are lots of tests, assignments, presentations, life is happening, and there is a constant pressure to get things right. And when feedback happens, it only points to what's missing and never to what's working. So that brings a feeling of being disheartened and unseen and alone. And while I was listening to my friend, I could actually sense something beneath those words. And it was a subtle fear, not just about the project itself, but about being judged, about not being enough, about the vulnerability of trying and still failing short. When I got that, I gently asked, what if everything went well? Imagine that we are a few months into the future and you look back and see that you completed this journey, that you overcame all the obstacles that it was bringing to you. You let go of what no longer served you, and you've embraced this new opportunity as an opportunity to grow. What does that look like to you? My friend was actually caught off guard when I asked that. Not because it sounded impossible, but actually because they had never stopped to imagine that version of their future. And in that pause, something really shifted. We didn't solve everything in that moment, but we managed to open a new space, a space where hope could breathe again. Very often, we hide behind real barriers or even imagined barriers because being in the discomfort, well, yes, it's uncomfortable. Looking at ourselves, looking inside of us, that's hard. It's the hard work. Choosing a new path? Oh, come on. We are human beings. We don't like change. It's even harder because it usually means stepping into the unknown. And let's be honest, not many people like it and would say, like I say, yay, let's go on this ride. I don't know what is gonna happen, but let's do it. Not many people do that. We all have our different fingerprints. So thinking of these pieces and thinking of Palm Sunday, when Palm Sunday is a day often remembered as one of celebration and welcome, with the crowds that are gathered to praise Jesus as he entered Jerusalem, waving palm branches and shouting Hosanna. But Palm Sunday wasn't just that moment of joy. It was also a moment of tension, because the same crowd that praised him, praised Jesus, would later betray him. And those cheers would actually turn into jeers. Fear would shout louder than love. And yet, Jesus kept walking. Not because he was fearless, but because he was deeply rooted in God's love. He was grounded in belonging, aligned with something larger than that moment that was posing right in front of him. So that kind of courage doesn't come from perfection. It comes from presence, from knowing who you are and walking in that truth, even when it's hard. Coming to nowadays, Brené Brown, she's a super writer, bestseller. She she says it, that true belonging is not about fitting in. It's about belonging so deeply and deeply to yourself that you can share your most authentic self to the world. It also got me thinking about that friend of mine, that when I saw that shift happening to them, a shift from trying to prove themselves to simply, yeah, maybe I can just show up as I am. That was a moment of pause. Maybe this is what Palm Sunday invites us to. It invites us to move from fear to love, even if the understanding of love might be a little beyond. It is something that is bigger than us. It maybe invites us from move from proving to belonging in our hearts, and from hesitation to courage. And when we think about the word courage, it means heart, core, heart. So we are in our hearts. And the reminder that this kind of courage doesn't come from the perfection, it really comes from the presence that we bring to our daily walk. There is this friend of mine who is a writer and a musician, and it's Jay Hobbs, and he has this song named I Can Do That, I Can Do This. And in his song, he says like, I will win, I will lose. I'm not afraid of you, fear. I step into the risk and I let light shine through. And hey, maybe that's what we have to do. It's not about waiting for fear to vanish, but it's about making friends with fear, and it's about choosing love anyway, or bringing this love closer to us. Because when we bring all this into our hearts, this love, this understanding, doesn't wait for fear to disappear. It just walks forward anyway, and it helps us move forward even when we are really afraid of what's coming. Today, let's take a deep breath together, and may we welcome the unknown, not as a threat, but as an invitation to grow. May we remember that we are never alone on our journey, that somebody else is always within us, on our side, above us, behind us, ahead of us. And like Brené Brown mentions and reminds us, vulnerability is not weakness. It is the courage, what comes from the heart, to show up when we cannot control the outcome. Let's keep on showing up in love, in faith, in full truth of who we are, being authentic to ourselves and aligned with something greater than ourselves, just like Jesus did. Thank you for being here. My gratitude for you in this moment. I'll see you in our next pause.